Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Middaylive. My name is Wendy Lyon. This bulletin is coming to you live from our news hub at Adesawe here in Kanda. Coming up, memorial service and wreath-laying ceremony held to mark the first anniversary of the death of Major Maxwell Adam Mahama. Minority in Parliament describes government's directive to MMDAs to use 80% of their funds to support flagship programs as illegal. And on the foreign front, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari expected to approve a new law to reduce age limits in political office. Let's start with our stories now. We are still in pain and we pray that justice should take its course. Those were the words of the father of Major Maxwell Adam Mahama after he took his turn to lay a wreath at Osu Cemetery to mark the first anniversary of his son's death. Godfred Tonam has come through with the following report.
The Ghana Armed Forces, together with the family of the late soldier, laid wreath in memory of Major Maxwell Adam Mahama. The spokesperson for the family, Zakaria Ahmed, said the family is so far satisfied with government's intervention after the death of the soldier.
Today has given us the opportunity to shed the tears, to shed our grief, and to remember our son. All the requests that we have made have been met.
Father of the late Major, Captain retired Dennis Mama, was full of sorrow.
The pain has always been the same. And today, it's as if it happened even today. We are still in pain. And we pray that justice should take its course until all the mob all the mob is
Earlier, a memorial church service was held at the St. Catherine Catholic Church at Bema Camp. Later in the day, the Ghana Armed Forces and the family of the late soldier will cut the sword for the construction of a memorial at the Airport Hills roundabout in Accra.
On May 29, 2017 will remain a dark day in the annals of Ghana's history. A soldier was brutally murdered by citizens as he had vowed to protect even against external aggression. Komla Kluche recaps events that led to his death on that fateful day.
His death shook the nation, not because it was the first case of lynching, but because he was clear he was innocent. Major Maxwell Mahama was reported to be leading the contingent of soldiers based in the Upper Denture West constituency. His exact mission? To protect small-scale mining. With the top hierarchy of the military shocked and shaken, deployed dozens of its men in uniform into the area of New Obuasi. Subsequently, a swoop was conducted that sent the whole village mute, becoming a ghost town. The body of the slain soldier was airlifted after the top hierarchy of the military visited the area. Subsequently, a district chief executive was fired for talking too much.
The truth is one. Komla, I'm a district chief executive. You expect that if probably I've seen a military man or somebody dressed in a military uniform, I assume that he's here in my district.
An SOS ignited for the arrest of an assemblyman who went into hiding 2 days after the police alleged he failed to come to the rescue of the soldier. Some 50 suspects were arrested and put before court, subsequently cut down to 14. An angered military demanded to visit mayhem on the town of New Obuasi.
So I want to suggest that we send a very strong warning to the people we are providing whatever services we assign us to provide. That we are also human beings. The next time this thing will happen.
We'll bring you some more later, but we have some information. In Ghana's leading telecommunications company, MTN, is launching its initial public offering, that's IPO, today, May 29, 2018. The planned listing is part of requirement for securing a 4G Lite license, which requires MTN to sell 35% of its shares to Guineans by June 2018. We now cross over to the Ghana Stock Exchange, where the launch is taking place.
Really, for want of a better word, cool things like having an IPO on your phone, being able to trade on your phone. This is a first. And it's a first for a best company also listing on the best exchange and the most attractive country on the continent. I think it's a marriage made in heaven. Government's drive to also stimulate development through an enabling business environment will create an opportunity for you to grow even bigger. Like I did say, the president's vision is that Ghana should become the best place to do business. And it wasn't a promise, it's actually a plan. And these are all little elements of that plan. Because I'm sure this IPO will demonstrate to the world that yes, Ghana is ready as a major investment opportunity and destination. It opens out the markets to other players who want to engage in the telecom space in Ghana, which is one of the fastest growing as well. I heard the number of market share indices, and you are even almost inclined to think that you are entering a monopolistic situation. But I don't use an MTN phone, I use a Vodafone, so I know that you are not there, you're not a monopoly. And so we are encouraged. But it just shows aggression in a market that is attractive and that you can actually do things in this market. And so we will showcase you as one of those good examples of FDI that has contributed to the growth of the economy, but also embraced local content in a very structured, interesting way. And we are happy to share your risks as well. It's not just the rewards, as you said. MTN has set a pace by going public, and we would encourage other multinationals and FDI players in the market to look the same. At the GIPC, our intention is always to encourage participation and linkages for mutual rewards with foreign direct investment. We want Ghanaians to participate in your global supply chains, because that's also another way to embrace them and embrace the local content law. And so we would encourage you that not just should you allow Ghanaians to own shares, but get them engaged in your business. I'll once again say another big congratulations, because on the back of many of the things that a lot of the players in the telecom business are doing, we are seeing a lot of Ghanaian innovation. We are seeing new businesses created. We are seeing innovative ideas come across. And every day I'm more and more encouraged that Ghana is the place to be. I will end by saying that this is a great time to be in Ghana, to be a Ghanaian. And I keep saying that Ghana is neither first world nor third world. We are a new world of opportunity, we are a new world of optimism, and we are a new world of results. I can firmly say that whenever you go outside and you mention Ghana, people's ears get cocked and want to find out, what are you saying about Ghana? Because they recognize that this is a country on the go. And at the GIPC, we all say Ghana on the go. We are happy to be even identified with this IPO. Yes, we worked hard to get certain things out of the way, but we're encouraged that it's going to facilitate transformation in a very broad way. I can only say thank you for giving the opportunity for all of us to earn or share in your risk and your rewards, and also democratizing your business and spreading it nationwide and global. I think many others will look at your example and come to Ghana, but I will always showcase you as a good foreign direct investor who has participated and contributed to the national growth. And I'll urge all of you to buy the shares and be part of that story, so that you can also brag when you go home that I own shares in the company that's the first in that, it has 93% shares here, and does that. Don't think you're a hardworking person, or at least a smart one. So I will end by saying congratulations. I think for the stock exchange, this is also a big move, much bigger than we all are recognizing. The stock exchange, the Ghana Stock Exchange, was the best performing stock exchange globally last year with a 52% return in real terms. And even as we speak, year to date, returns of 23%. Very attractive. And you make my work easier because I can always quote some of these things as why Ghana will remain the most attractive place in West Africa and Africa. So thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Yofi Grant. So the next of the three speeches will be delivered by a man who excelled quite spectacularly in the telco industry. So as Eben was saying, I'm not too sure if his blood is yellow though, because his blood started out as yellow. He worked with a brand which was red and then green. And I guess because of the red, gold, green, he qualified to serve as a minister in the sector, because now his blood is red, gold, green. He's working for Ghana. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Deputy Minister for Communications and MP for Ewutu Senya West, Honorable George Nenyi Anda, to bring us his speech.
The Minister of Finance, colleague deputy ministers, the NCA board chairman, CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Nime, Name, Nananum, South Africa's ambassador to Ghana, MTN Group CFO, and team from South Africa, MTN board chairman and members of the board, MTN CEO and vice president and other group executives present, MTN staff, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, hello and good afternoon. So even I still have a bit of yellow in my voice. First, let me thank you for the invitation extended to His Excellency, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and Honorable Minister of Communications, and also to apologize for their inability to join you on this auspicious occasion due to exigencies of work. This notwithstanding, they have both directed that I convey their very best wishes to you today. I also wish to recognize the presence of the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, adjudged 2018 Best African Finance Minister. And since this is an investment issue, I certainly believe that he is the best person to support you launch this IPO. This shows how we are using telecommunications and ICT to create prosperity for the people of Ghana. I'm personally happy to join you in the launch. It really feels like being back home. And let me take this opportunity to commend the management of MTN for believing in Ghana and taking this laudable step to get enlisted onto the Ghana Stock Exchange. In 2006, the International Telecommunications Union and its membership took a decisive action for countries to migrate from analog TV to digital terrestrial TV, with a view to freeing spectrum for utilization by the telecoms ICT industry in order to offer better and efficient services to our citizens. Mr. Chairman, additionally, the growth in data usage globally for services provided online requires adequate spectrum with lower capex for deployment to reach majority of the citizens with such services and at affordable prices. In view of this exponential growth in data, there's the need for faster internet and to also request you to take full advantage of the value-added services offered by the 4G LTE spectrum license. In 2015, after wider consultation with industry players, government decided to offload 2 blocks of spectrum in the 800 megahertz band, of which MTN successfully acquired 1 to provide the citizens with faster internet connectivity for businesses and individuals to compete globally. As part of the 4G LTE license condition, MTN was required to sell 35% of its shares to Ghanaians by June 2018. Government is therefore very happy to see this requirement being fulfilled as part of government's policy for local content participation in our telecom space. Launched today demonstrates that responsible multinational companies like MTN abide by local regulations and policy to ensure mutual benefits to the company and the citizens for whom such services are offered. This is also a demonstration of mutual collaboration and good corporate governance, and will further deepen MTN's commitment to the Ghanaian telecom market and our overall economy. The customer and the people for whom these services are offered are the ultimate winners. Government appreciates such complementary roles being played by the industry to ensure that the right infrastructure mix is available to propel our digitization agenda. I wish to further indicate that there are some spectrum blocks still available in the 800 megahertz band for sale. Now that telcos who are interested to enhance their operations and offerings to the Ghanaian people should take advantage of this. Mr. Chairman, it's refreshing and nostalgic for me to witness this proud moment of the launch. The first in the industry, an especially important occasion because it certainly represents the first and probably the largest telecom sector IPO in Ghanaian history. This is indeed another proud and historic moment for MTN and for Ghana. It's the hope of government that this journey that we are commencing today will be fruitful to MTN, 35% public shareholders, and the government at large. It is our hope and expectation that this IPO will broaden and spread wider the participation and investment in the nation's telecom sector by Ghanaians. It will enable improvements in the growth in a sector increasingly pivotal to the realization of our nation's aspiration to once again be a prime regional and continental influencer. Mr. Chairman, the recognition by the mobile network operators like MTN that they are key stakeholders in national development is testified in their partnering with government and its agencies in the implementation of government policy in the form of the installation of a common monitoring platform for regulatory, fiscal, and financial oversight and the monitoring of the telecom sector. We do recognize your efforts to ensure compliance with the laws of the land in the best interest of the people and the government of Ghana, as well as the best interest of the mobile network operators themselves. In concluding, may I request you support the regulator, the NCA, in the implementation of the common platform for traffic, revenue assurance, fraud management, and mobile money monitoring initiative, and may our collaboration continue to grow to impact positively the industry and the economy of Ghana, even as we build a Ghana beyond aid. We expect the full cooperation of all telcos in the implementation of the revenue assurance functions of the common monitoring platform as good corporate citizens. We will implement Act 864 to the latter and hope that the full cooperation of this common monitoring platform will demonstrate and indeed cement the existing good relationships between the regulator and the network operators. Congratulations once again, and we all look forward to this bright experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable George Nenyi Anda, Deputy Minister for Communications. And in case you just tuned in, this is a live event. We're here at the Marriott Hotel for MTN Ghana's IPO launch. If you're watching us on TV or listening to us on radio, send a message to somebody to tune in to join this historic moment. Before we take our musical interregnum and bring our special guest, we have a final speech. And this speech will be delivered by a man who, in many ways, epitomizes the stock exchange. He joined in 1990 and he's been there ever since, served in various capacities including presiding officer on the trading floor, financial controller, head of listings and general manager. He's been MD of the stock exchange since 2003. Mr. Kofi Yamwa will bring us greetings from the stock exchange. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you, Ben. Honorable Minister for Finance, thank you for being here. Honorable Deputy Ministers, Her Excellency, distinguished chairs, CEOs, and executives of various companies represented here. Thank you very much and good morning. I'm only bringing two aspects to this agenda. First, my appreciation, and two, my excitement. And my first appreciation goes to the NCA. It is because of NCA's condition that we are here witnessing this offer, after which they will be listing on the exchange. It's a condition NCA puts over several years, saying that for regulators that have the power to grant licenses to various sectors of the economy, the license should go with local content. And I mean local content to the extent of listing on the exchange. Fortunately, NCA has set the lead, and I expect and I implore the likes of Bank of Ghana, the Minerals Commission, the NIC to follow suit, so that in due course of time, many more of the giants of MTN will be on the exchange. And NCA went beyond just the condition. They facilitated a number of meetings. I remember very well one morning in August at Holiday Inn, there was what Mr. Asante described as focus or solution-focused discussions. I think the solution is here today, and I believe the NCA meeting was the beginning of that. Thank you very much, NCA, and we believe that the others will follow suit by your further conditions. Next will be the board of MTN Ghana, led by Dr. Ishmael Yamson. I remember very well that when the news broke that MTN was doing an offer but without a listing, the first person that came to my mind was Dr. Yamson. I knew him from Kingsway when he was a founding member of the Ghana Stock Exchange and also a well-known executive of Unilever. I needed audience with him. I knew him to be fiercely Ghanaian. and I believe that if I had a chance, he would buy into my principle. Thank you, Dr. Yamson, for listening to me, not only once, but twice during that period. And I must also thank the MTN Group, particularly the Director for Finance, who just spoke. I must thank him because when we met at Labadi Beach Hotel sometime back when the entire group was here for a meeting, he affirmed that in due course, MTN will actually list. Thank you very much for that assurance, which is realized today. Then I must thank my own chair, Mr. Albertesian. In one conversation, he said, Kofi, I have a meeting with the group finance director. What message do I convey to him? I told Mr. Essien that if you can get MTN Ghana to list, that will be your legacy as the chairman of the Ghana Stock Exchange. So, Mr. Albert Essien, your legacy begins today. Thank you very much. And then, the Honorable Minister for Finance. I tried severally before his assumption of office to get this message across. I sent him an elaborate email followed with a text, and I booked an appointment to meet him. And he gave me the assurance that I've spoken to MTN. I believe they will list. Today, that belief has been fulfilled. Thank you, Honorable Kenneth Furata, very much for doing that. I'm excited as the MD of the exchange in 4 ways. First of all, the service sector is the biggest in our economy. And within that sector, the telecom and information technology is fast and growing. But unfortunately, that sector is not represented on the exchange. So to that extent, we will say that the exchange doesn't represent a true barometer of economic activity in this country. And if we have to represent it, then the better way to do it is to have the leader of that sector coming on stream, and that is MTN Ghana coming on board. So that is very exciting for us at the exchange, and we thank Mr. Asante and his team for making that possible. Secondly, this offer is special. Hitherto, the offers have been pick a form, fill it, go to a receiving agent, submit it, pay, and then in due course you become a shareholder. MTN is introducing 2 additional innovative channels of distribution. First, I know that you can apply online as far as this offer is concerned. So anybody in Ghana sitting anywhere using internet can do application by online approach. And that is very innovative, the first as far as the market is concerned. Thank you, MTN. And more importantly, they also deploy mobile money. That will help us achieve a large number of retail investors. And that is also very unique. So it means that every mobile money user can use this approach or this approach to apply under the offer. And that makes it much, much easier for us to reach everybody in this country. My third reason for being excited, and I dare say for the exchange as a whole, is that as far as the pension funds are concerned, and it's growing very rapidly, we need companies that are good for our pension funds to invest in. MTN presents a company that is, 1, very well run, 2, reasonably profitable, I dare say much more profitable than we envisage. It's very socially responsible, and in that regard, I believe that it's an opportunity for all pension funds, including and especially the second-tier private pension funds, to invest so that we can demonstrate a statement that the pension industry is ready to assist companies, raise money, grow, and develop this country. It's an opportunity for us to make sure that we get it right using the pension funds as far as this offer is concerned. And I believe all trustees will support the pension fund managers to do so under this offer. Finally, I know that MTN has more than 17 million phone subscribers. That, by my estimation, means that we there can say a target of 1 million retail investors should come to this market under this offer. We want to work towards that goal. And that in itself will bring so much liquidity to this market that we have always been accused of lacking. I believe that we stand ready to assist MTN achieve this liquidity target so that going forward, this market will really have come of age in terms of liquidity. Thank you very much, MTN. Certainly, the Ghana Stock Exchange stands to support you in your countrywide programs as far as this offer is concerned. And on my own note, I stand ready from tomorrow to buy heavily into MTN shares. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. You know a lot of people. You are very well connected. And you remember the dates of all the meetings. So you're a man we must meet. We want to bring you a spot of music. The Pan-African Youth Orchestra is the youth wing of the Pan-African Orchestra, established in 1995 in collaboration with the National Theatre of Ghana. They have a short piece for us. Please enjoy. That was the Pan-African Orchestra. Fantastic stuff. And those of you who don't know, the instruments include the xylophone, the flute, and some other very interesting Ghanaian instruments. And why are you looking at me like that? The xylophone, the flute, one looks like a calabash. And I was really nostalgic because when I worked at Universe in the year 2000, this was the soundtrack for our news bulletin. So when you hear this, you have to go and read the news, whether you are ready or not. So Pan-African Orchestra, thank you for doing this. Hope you can come back and do something equally nice. So it's time to hear from a man we have been all waiting for. And in spite of all the things said about him, he's a very simple man. He's our finance minister, and we're very proud of him. Please put your hands together for Ken Ofori-Atta. Ken Ofori-Atta.
Thank you very much. Good. Is it still morning, or have we moved on? Thank you, Madam Ambassador, Chairman, colleague, ministers, deputy ministers, and all of you distinguished people. I think we've heard enough speeches for today. So I would just really would like to thank MTN for making this courageous move, because I think when we started the conversations, it sounded a bit ridiculous or incredulous to them. They had not done it anywhere else and were worried about its potential effect. But I mean, I felt very strongly that we were in a new regime, and as Africans, we should be asking why and why and why. And by the fifth time, you have no answers, and you realize that, the basis of your decision are not quite right. And then obviously, I mean, the joy in which you are talking about these fares is indicative that everybody is going to be a winner today and the years that are ahead. So thanks again for the courage to do that. It's interesting for me because in I guess 1990, when we launched the Ghana Stock Exchange, there were only 11 or so companies, maybe $10 million was the market capital. And in March of 91, I think we had the first listing of Super Paper or something, very tiny little company that happened. But it's also an interesting reminder of the days gone by, because once again, Chairman Yamson had something to do with it, in the sense that I was then, we had just then begun with Data Bank, and Chairman Yamson invited us to do the merger analysis for Lever Brothers and UAC to form Unilever. And essentially, he was saying, I know you guys can do this work instead of bringing a foreign advisor for this. However, you don't have a brokerage license, but I'll give you the chance to do this assignment. And that really catapulted, Data Bank into becoming sort of the investment banking advisory company in that. So, Chairman, thank you. And today, we stand here launching one of the largest IPOs, indigenous, and you are chair of that. It just shows your resilience and continued contribution to our country. And if we also sort of cast back a bit, in 1994, February, we traded at Data Bank about $25 million of shares, about 11 or so of the shares, 8 of the 11 shares on the stock exchange. And that was about 52% of the exchange. So you can imagine that the stock exchange market cap was about $100 million. And today we are talking at 65 billion and change or so. We also, I think, acquired about 52% of Enterprise Insurance in 1998 for about $1.1 million. And you look at the values today. So needless to say that getting into the equity market is a great thing to do. And MTN certainly, in my view, will be one of those. For a number of reasons. One certainly is well managed, is efficient, and the proof is there for all of us to see. But one of the issues that the Managing Director of the Stock Exchange talked about is the issue of liquidity. And liquidity changes valuation. I really have no doubt that we'll have, if we really play this game well, we can trump the million to about 5 million shareholders. And it is possible because of the platform, and the price is not that high. I'm sure somebody can begin to fund people to do that. So I expect a real game changer and hope that the stock exchange is ready for that level and get the stadiums ready for the AGMs because it will be a very, Eben, I don't know whether you know what you've done, but managing an AGM in a stadium is going to be your lot. So we thank you for doing this. Now, we went to the bond market a couple of weeks ago, and the Ghana turnaround story was very strong. So even as Argentina and Turkey and the Iran deal really made the emerging markets choppy, the turnaround story for Ghana was able to sort of ring fence against all of that choppiness. So that in the end, we ended up, looking for maybe 1.5 billion and ended up with $8 billion worth of investors. We ended up taking 2 billion of that. And that really begins to show what Mr. Grant is trying to illustrate, that, there's something new about the country, and it's really up to us to drive this on. So I'm really encouraged by this, and we worked with IC Securities for the bond issue, and I'd like to congratulate you for this one too. It's just wonderful to see the whole Ghanaian setup doing that. So thanks for that. The finance director talked about our president and his speech at Oxford, but I think what he really the vision for this issue of Ghana Beyond Aid or Africa Beyond Aid is how do you create a self-confident and prosperous society in which we are all participating, in ensuring that your fellow citizen has access like everybody else, and that we put poverty behind us. So we are trying to get this narrative for every Ghanaian to begin to feel different, to feel confident and strong about himself. And what the Minister of Finance is trying to define as how do you create a wise society, W-I-S-E, a wealthy, inclusive, sustainable, and an empowered people. And I think if we all internalize that, we really will see the black star that we're all looking for. So let's continue in this to, I guess, remain bright, your bright strategy, and truly believe that we are a unique continent and we can do it. By 2050, we're going to be a quarter of the world's population. $2.5 trillion, 1.3 billion people. You have to deal with Africa. But we have to position ourselves that we are the drivers of it. So let's even change this whole concept of local content into foreign content. We own our continent, and then we call somebody to join, not the other way. And I think we'll be that great continent that we all aspire for. So let me just say thank you to all of you. Government will keenly support you in what you do. Without technology, we can't make it. We were in Korea last week, and it was really clear that it's about the human capital that we have to build and technology to support that. So I think really your responsibility as a corporate citizen will be how do you apply this technology to make sure that we break, this poverty gap. I mean, we can use technology to ensure that the education matrix and the pedagogy changes so that everybody has that access and opportunity, and it can be done. We've already started speaking with people like the Khan Academy and Facebook, etc. I think we should join to really transform education. And once we transform our people, you know that the sky is the limit. So government thanks you. Government looks forward to working with you very closely to make significant changes in our economy and for the benefit of our people. And government cannot do it all. And that's why we need you. Recently also, I guess I just came back a couple of days ago, and there's a whole lot of noise about some platform services that are going on. And I think people have also brought up the issue of data protection. But these are all things that, we can find cures to without getting very political, about them. And I think it's incumbent on the telcos to be able to provide, solutions if somebody is really worried about data protection, etc. Because we need to do that. Facebook is doing that. Everybody's beginning to find a solution to. But the issue of monitoring is important. This is not the first place that is going to be done. And we should, marshal ourselves as a people of a certain direction to make sure that the nation, moves ahead. So on this occasion, I have this great privilege to formally launch the IPO of MTN. I wish to congratulate all of you for opening the door of opportunity to Ghanaians to share in the risk and successes of this great company. I really wish you well and look forward to a very successful launch. Thank you very much.
So he's launched it, but we're not done with the launching. This is just part one of the launching. So that contraption to your right and to my left is actually neatly put together to contain something very beautiful. So we're going to respectfully ask Ken again, accompanied on the government side by Deputy Minister George Anda, and then Yofi, GIPC, and then the two regulators to go to one side of the beautiful contraption. And then we have from the MTN side, Eben, Ralph, and Mr. Yamson to come to the other side. So please make your way up there. We're going to unveil something very important, and that would be the physical launch. So we've done the literal launch. We are now going to physically launch it. Yes. So my advice is that, Eben, you take one side of the rope, and then Ken, the minister, 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 the rope, and then Ken, the minister. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. I think you should go on because I don't have power. So you were helping me with the phantom from keep going until I get power. We have just one last...
So you've just been watching Ghana's leading telecommunications company, MTN, launch its initial public offering. That's an IPO. The planned listing is part of requirements for securing a 4G Lite license, which requires MTN to sell 35% of its shares to Ghanaians by June 2018. We'll bring you more of that as well in our subsequent bulletins. You're still watching Middaylive, and a minority in Parliament is demanding that government immediately withdraws its directive to all MMDAs to use 80% of their allocated funds to support central government's flagship programs. The minority has described the directive as illegal. According to them, this is a lazy way of government implementing its flagship program. Deputy Ranking Member of the Local Government and Rural Development Committee in Parliament, Benjamin Podo, addressed the media.
We view this illegal directive as one of the indications of the government's inability to fund its numerous promises to the people of Ghana. It is an act of desperation to fulfill promises, the funding of which was not well thought out. We note further that the District Assembly's Common Fund has also been subjected to capping under the Earmark Funds Capping and Realignment Act, which I earlier referred to. In 2018, the fund has been capped to 1,812,144,435 Ghana cedis.
He further asked government to take steps to ensure that the allocations due the various MMDAs are released at appropriate time.
The government should immediately withdraw the said restrictive directive to the metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies regarding the use of the approved direct transfers to the assemblies. The government should explore and find other means of funding its flagship programs and projects as directed by Parliament on March 22nd, 2018. It has become notorious for government to run to the DACF to prey on its resources whenever it needs money for anything extra budget. The government should desist from any further acts that seek to deprive the assemblies of lawful funds due to them for implementation of their local developmental agenda, such as introducing legislation that seeks to appropriate parts of the monies due to the DACF. The government should take steps to regularly and timeously release monies due to the District Assembly's Common Fund as stipulated in the Constitution.
Desmond, do stay with us.